Cat Williams wasn't playing. Remember, Cat Williams said all will be exposed. He said there's only two sides. You either on God's side or you on that other side, which is the devil's side, and I'm definitely on God's side. But whoever is out here doing whatever they're doing, you about to be exposed. Now, listen, I'm not saying that this man, Bishop T.D. Jakes, is guilty. All I'm saying is he's been fighting behind the scenes, and we're just now finding out about it. So the courts have denied motion to dismiss T.D. Jakes' defamation lawsuit against man who accused him of sexual assault. Uh-oh. I did not know that there was a man that accused Bishop T.D. Jakes of sexually assaulting him. Let's get into the details. So, the United States District Judge, this is on Christian Post. The United States District Judge William S. Strickman has denied a motion from former pastor turned sex registered offender Dwayne Youngblood to dismiss a defamation lawsuit that was filed against him and 10 other unidentified individuals by Bishop T.D. Jakes for alleging that Bishop T.D. Jakes sexually assaulted him when he was a teenager some 40 years ago. Oh, damn. Damn. So it's not only him. It's him and 10 other unidentified individuals who Bishop T.D. Jakes allegedly is countersuing. Now, in an 18-page opinion and 1-page order that was filed in the United States District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, Strickman denied Youngblood's special motion to dismiss T.D. Jakes' lawsuit, pursuant to Pennsylvania's anti-SLAPP SLAPP statute, arguing that it did not apply to Youngblood's case. So he has a suit against T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes countersues him, and he is trying to get that countersuit dismissed. The judge said, nah, let it go ahead. The SLAPP acronym in Pennsylvania, that's their anti-SLAPP statute. It stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. It was signed into law by Governor Josh Shapiro last July. Bochetto and Lentz notes. So the statute basically allows, among other things, a defendant in a defamation lawsuit to file an early motion to dismiss the case on the grounds that the defamation claim is frivolous. So basically, he's using the law to say that Bishop T.D. Jakes don't have a reason to file a defamation lawsuit against him because he wasn't trying to defame him. He just trying to let the truth be known that Bishop T.D. Jakes molested him when he was a teenager some 40 years ago, and he been carrying that around on him, in his spirit for all these years. Stickman suggested that the argument raised in Youngblood's motion to dismiss T.D. Jakes' lawsuit would have been more applicable under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 12b-6, which allows a defendant to move to dismiss a complaint if it doesn't allege enough facts to support a plausible legal claim. Now, that's all the legal jargon that's within that. Y'all know Bishop T.D. Jakes stepped down recently from the Potter's House, right? Very profitable organization, religious organization, a very prominent man within that realm he has as well. And he has now left it to his daughter and son-in-law. The court will dismiss Youngblood's motion because it relies on statutory provisions that are not applicable in this litigation. The court will not reframe Youngblood's argument to fit within the rule. If Youngblood wishes to file a motion to dismiss based on Rule 12b-6 or Rule 56, he may do so provided that his filing complies with all applicable rules, federal rules of civil procedure. This is what the judge wrote. Now, Jakes, T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes is 67 years old. He founded the Potter's House, which is a mega church in Dallas, Texas. He founded that nearly 30 years ago. He filed a defamation lawsuit against Youngblood. Youngblood is 58 years old. Last November, a day after suffering a heart attack while preaching, Youngblood claimed in a couple of interviews with internet personality Larry Reed on his Larry Reed Live show on October 28th and on November 3rd, 2024. You can go look up those two episodes that T.D. Jakes assaulted him when he was about 18 or 19 years old. He is 58. T.D. Jakes is 67. So let me see. 58 and 7. So T.D. Jakes is 9 years older than he is. So if he was 18, T.D. Jakes would have been about 27, 28, pushing 30, up on an 18-year-old. T.D. Jakes claims that Youngblood engaged in libel per se, quote unquote, libel per se, libel, a civil conspiracy to commit defamatory acts. In other words, he is lying and he is trying to bring me down with these lies. The underlying story in this case depicts a carefully planned effort by a convicted criminal and those acting in concert with him to rewrite history in order to deflect blame and accountability for his own reprehensible and criminal conduct, and to publicly smear a renowned and eminently respected religious leader in a blatant and explicit attempt to extort him of millions of dollars. Lawyers for T.D. Jakes wrote these words in his 20-page lawsuit in which they detailed Youngblood's history of abusing minors since at least 2002. I guess Youngblood is saying that, they have a saying that most people who end up abusing others were people who were actually abused themselves. So I guess he is saying that Bishop T.D. Jakes started that cycle with him and he continued it with others, and that is why he is now a registered sex offender. Stickman also denied a motion by Youngblood, Stickman being the judge. He denied a motion by Youngblood to file a counterclaim against T.D. Jakes as moot, M-O-O-T, because he did not need the court's permission to file the counterclaim. He could have just filed it. Youngblood's motion to file a counterclaim against Jakes' son, Jermaine Jakes, was also denied without prejudice. Youngblood alleges that Jermaine Jakes sent him a message on social media November 3rd of 2024, warning him that you might be in dangerous territory there, Dwayne. Just be careful. You out here calling up my daddy's name on some gangsterism. Youngblood's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, did not respond to the request for comments from the Christian Post on Stickman's order on Monday. Now, in his 167 pages motion to dismiss Jakes' defamation lawsuit that was filed in January, Youngblood included multiple affidavits supporting his sexual assault claims against T.D. Jakes, including one from his older brother, Pastor Richard Edwin Youngblood, who alleges that T.D. Jakes even attempted to do it to him too. Stickman, the judge, in his opinion, noted that Youngblood's motion to dismiss is based entirely on the uniform Public Expression Protection Act, and that there is no mention of Rule 12b-6. In his motion in support brief, Youngblood does not mention Rule 12b-6, the governing rule at this stage of the litigation. Moreover, Youngblood's motion is reliant on the summary judgment like standard. This is all legal jargon, right? So the court will not reframe Youngblood's motion as a Rule 12b-6, the judge wrote. Well, Youngblood relies on sworn affidavits to allegedly corroborate his statements and support his arguments. The court may not consider documents outside the pleadings under Rule 12b-6, subject to certain exceptions which are not applicable here, the judge said. The judge further stated that Youngblood's argument in his motion to dismiss T.D. Jakes' lawsuit are fundamentally incompatible with the Rule 12b-6 standard. For example, Youngblood argues that T.D. Jakes had not presented admissible evidence to prove that Youngblood's statements were false and made with malice. Youngblood further contended that T.D. Jakes fails to establish by clear and convincing evidence that Youngblood acted with actual malice. Youngblood's motion, based on the Union Public Expression Protection Act, the Uniform Public Expression Protection Act, fundamentally diverges from the Rule 12b-6 standard. So at that motion to dismiss stage, T.D. Jakes does not have a burden to present admissible evidence. Before discovery and trial, though, T.D. Jakes has no obligation to prove any of his claims by clear and convincing evidence. His burden at this stage is merely to allege sufficient facts that, if accepted as true, state a claim for relief plausible of this face. In other words, T.D. Jakes really don't have to do anything. He just got to take it like it is and not say much. He doesn't have to prove anything right now, right? The burden of proof seems to be on the person who is accusing him. Now, on Sunday, just 2 days after Strickland's orders, after the judge made this order, T.D. Jakes announced, this is 2 days after the judge made this order, T.D. Jakes announced that he will hand over the reins of his mega church, the Potter's House, to his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, and son-in-law, Torrey Roberts. He said, quote unquote, "I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd." This is what he told the congregation. November, I think, is when he had the heart attack while he was preaching. But it's been long rumored that things were bubbling behind the scenes that had to do with something like this. And that's why T.D. Jakes' world was crumbling and he was feeling all that pressure. I'm telling you, pressure can make your chest get tight. Pressure can make you feel like you're about to have a heart attack, like you can't breathe, especially when everything is coming down on you like this, innocent or guilty. I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd. I cannot afford to let all the work of all the saints, living and dead, behold this so tight, so long that I wither away. So I'm suggesting to you, I'm recommending to you, you receive Pastor Torrey and Pastor Sarah, he said, to cheers and applause, while noting that the move is a continuation of legacy move. Many people are not buying that. They're not saying it's a continuation of legacy move. They're saying that it's a him running from his kingdom falling around him move. So if he passes the business on, it's church, it's a business. And it makes a whole lot of money, If he passes the business on, you could go look up Bishop T.D. Jakes' net worth. You'll be surprised. But if he passes the business on, they can continue to make money like they were making before. But if he stays on that altar and these kinds of accusations continue to come, especially with the pending trial of Sean P. Diddy Combs right around the corner, getting ready to start, and T.D. Jakes' name is all in that as well. People are saying that no better time than now. Joseph King says God is judging T.D. Jakes, and it will not be pretty. T.D. Jakes is like a fish that is reeled in and is flopping around on the banks, trying hard not to let any hands pick him up. Of course, you got somebody who is saying, how you know that about God, what God is doing? What do you think Jakes is being judged for? Another person says, end days, wolves in the pulpit will be exposed. The sweat on the brow will need a big towel to wipe it off. Keep it truthful and simple, people. Confess your sins to God, and he will not condemn you. It will be erased. Well, another person jumps in and says, which God? What happens after such confessions? As thou herein urge to said God? Christians over here arguing. Some of them think T.D. Jakes is guilty and is being judged by God. And the judging is public. And this is why you see things happening, And others are just saying, listen, there are demons who are after this chosen man of God. Whichever one it is. You never see smoke without fire. You never see fire without smoke, whichever way you want to take it. We knew something was going on. Again, we're not saying that T.D. Jakes is guilty. We're not saying he is innocent. All I'm saying is it's kind of shocking to know that there are men out here, one in particular, who alleges and has a lawsuit against T.D. Jakes for molesting him when he was a teenager. 2 days after the judge made his ruling, Bishop T.D. Jakes gave up his church, turned it over to his daughter and son-in-law. Y'all do the math. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.